Be it meetings or partings, leave no regret behind. A lonesome life is all you deserve.
Have you ever encountered situations where Dyadia couldn't keep up the pressure, lacked healing, or had poor survivability? Let's dive deeper into Dyadia's playstyle and strategies. 1. Inability to keep up the pressure. Dyadia's inability to keep up the pressure on her enemies usually stems from not utilizing her skills to steal gold, along with suboptimal equipment choices. 2. Insufficient healing. Dyadia's healing is actually affected by the gold earnings from her passive. It's important to master the techniques for accumulating gold, as well as her various skill combos. 3. Poor survivability. Dyadia's poor survivability is usually due to not picking the right heroes for the lineup. Players need to understand more about how heroes work, as well as hero counters.
A chance encounter can still lead to friendship. A fated encounter.
Dyadia's skill 1 releases a red wisp to heal teammates and herself. Her skill 2 releases a blue wisp that damages enemies, steals their gold, and crowd controls them. Her ultimate is an area damage and healing skill. The effects from her skill 1 and 2 are key to increasing her ultimate's damage and healing.
Unhappy bonds should be severed.
Poking techniques. When there's a wisp on an enemy or teammate, Dyadia can use her skill 1 or skill 2 to dash to them from a considerable distance. Utilize skill 2's immobilizing effect, and her enhanced basic attacks knock back to interrupt the enemy carry. Then use skill 1's secondary dash to retreat. Performance boosts. Release the ultimate's wisp at groups of enemies and teammates to trigger fated and bitter bonds more easily. Skill 1 and 2 can be used to individually boost performance on isolated teammates or enemies. Equipment. Equip Augur's Word and Mask of Agony to boost her magical attack, tankiness, and sustain. Skill 2's damage over time can trigger Mask of Agony's passive multiple times. Ultimate. If an ally has a wisp on them, Dyadia's ultimate will provide extra restoration. If an enemy has a wisp, it will immediately trigger a crowd control effect. Easter eggs. When an ally Ogryn sets up the path of passing, Dyadia can walk on the path to move across walls. Their synergy allows them to provide rapid assistance and disrupt the enemy's formation.
Cheers to good times.
Early game. In the early game, Dyadia needs to protect her team's marksman, focusing on keeping the pressure up in her lane. Frequently use skill 2 and the ultimate to reduce the enemy carries and supports gold income, while using skill 1 to protect your team's marksman and earn extra gold to gain an economic advantage. Mid-game. Continue focusing on boosting your gold income during the mid-game. In teamfights, stay in a safe position behind your teammates. Use skill 1 and 2 to pull at the enemy's formation and pair them with the ultimate to provide sustain and crowd control for the team. This will reduce the enemy's gold while further enhancing your team's economic advantage. Late game. In the late game, the accumulated extra gold should allow Dyadia to buy advanced equipment and fully boost her damage, healing, and survivability. In teamfights, continue to focus on pulling at the enemy formation. With her passive bonus, her ultimate's area damage can deal significant damage to enemies and provide a ton of healing to her teammates.
You found a love that's truly rare. May your wish come true.
This combo is best used in teamfights. Start with skill 2 to apply Bitter Bond on 2 enemies, then use skill 1 to apply Fated Bond on 2 teammates. Finally, unleash the ultimate into the center of the teamfight to maximize the healing and crowd control effects.
May you form deep bonds.
When in danger, start with the ultimate to apply Fated Bond on multiple teammates. Then use skill 1 on 2 teammates to gain 2 dashes. Finally, use the enhanced basic attack on a monster to escape through walls.
Interested in a love fortune, Master Seer?
When chasing after enemies who are far away, start by using skill 1 on a nearby teammate to close the gap. Then use the enhanced basic attack to crowd control and approach the enemy. Follow up with the ultimate to deal damage and apply Bitter Bond on enemies within range, then use skill 2 to chase down low health enemies and deliver the final blow.
May a punishment befall those who break their promises.
In teamfights, start with the ultimate to deal damage and provide healing while applying bitter and faded bonds to teammates and enemies. Use the second phase of skill 2 to dash to different marked enemies, dealing damage and immobilizing them. Then use the second phase of skill 1 to return to teammates with faded bond and heal up. This allows for up to 4 dashes in a short time, making her very hard to pin down.
May another punishment befall the cold-hearted.
The right lineup can significantly increase your chances of winning. When teamed with heroes like Arlie, Dairenji, or Musashi, who can provide sustained damage output, Dyadia can help by inflicting crowd control, dealing extra damage, and providing healing, allowing them to stay alive for longer and deal more damage. Dyadia can make life very hard for heroes like Dyadia, who lack dash skills and don't deal high burst damage. The immobilization from her skill 2 represents a major threat to them, and the healing from her skill 1 makes it difficult for them to finish off their targets. Typically, Dyadia will stay close to the carry. However, due to her lack of skills that can save her in a tough spot, she's vulnerable to being crowd controlled and taken down by heroes like Uegutsu or Sun-Si, who have powerful area crowd control skills.